الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. فقال الإمام النووي رحمه الله تعالى: وعن أبي أيوب خالد بن زيد الأنصاري رضي الله عنه أن رجلا قال: يا رسول الله أخبرني بعمل يدخلني الجنة ويباعدني من النار. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أيوة عبد الله بن عمر. أيوة نعم. قال الإمام النووي رحمه الله تعالى: وعن عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص رضي الله عنهما عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: الكبائر الإشراك بالله وعقوق الوالدين وقتل النفس واليمين الغموس. رواه البخاري. اليمين الغموس التي يحلفها كاذبا عامدا سميت غموسا لأنها تغمس الحالف في الإثم. This is Hadith number 337 in this edition that I'm reading from, but in the English edition that's not with me, it's a different number. Anyhow, this one comes from Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As radiyallahu anhuma, and he relates that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, among the kaba'ir, the major sins, associating partners with Allah, uquq al-walidain, which we said is more than just disrespect. It includes opposing them and behaving towards them in a way that would upset them and anger them, whether it is with the hand or the feet or the tongue or the eyes or the ears. Murder and the all-engulfing oath. And this is related by al-Bukhari. These are not all of the major sins. There are more. Ibn Abbas says they're closer to 70 than 7. And generally, there's about 70 odd kaba'ir that are agreed upon by most ulama. These are mentioned in particular as the greatest of the kaba'ir. The first being shirk, associating a partner with Allah Ta'ala in worship. The second, uquq al-walidain, this disrespect and disdain and abuse of parents. The third, murder. And the fourth is al-yamin al-ghamus. Al-yamin al-ghamus is translated as the all-engulfing oath. And the reason why it's called this is because it comes from the word ghamus. You say in Arabic, فلان يعني يغمس يده في النار أو في شيء. If he submerges his hand into something. If a person is in a battlefield and there's 100 of the enemy before him and he's all by himself and he decides he's going to attack them head on, this is al-inghimas fil adu, going headlong into the enemy troops. This is inghimas, to submerge oneself. And the reason why it's called the all-engulfing oath is that it's an oath where a person swears by Allah. They say wallahi, knowing that they're telling a lie when they say wallahi. Not just saying wallahi out of negligence like children do and many adults. Everything is wallah al-azim. Wallah al-azim, I ate the cereal. Yeah, they use it in inappropriate context when they shouldn't. But we're talking about a person who knowingly says wallahi, or I swear to God, or I swear by Allah, knowing that they're telling a lie when they do that. This is one of the worst of the major sins, and the Prophet ﷺ calls it al-yamin al-ghamus because it causes that person to be submerged in sin, and it can cause them to be submerged in the hellfire, and that's why it's given that name. The reason why it's such a major sin is not just because of the nature of the lie. The lie could be very small. It could be what people call a white lie, something really, really minuscule and paltry. But the reason why it's such a major sin is because by them knowingly swearing by Allah while telling a lie, it is taking, as we say in the West, taking the Lord's name in vain. It is ihana, it is belittling the glorified name of Allah Ta'ala in that context where one should have ta'aleem, reverence instead. That is why it's such a major sin. Even if the content of the oath is a a really small and paltry lie that doesn't even harm anyone. The lie could be big or small, but it's swearing purposely in Allah's name, knowingly lying, that makes it such a great crime. So these are all considered among the major sins, and we know the relevance of this hadith of the chapter is the second sin, uquq al-walidain, which, as we said yesterday, it's important to understand the definition. It's not just disrespect of parents only. There's disrespect of the tongue, but there's also abuse with the hand, with the feet. In the definition of it, as we said yesterday, according to the fuqaha, is anything that one does that would cause anger from the mother or the father or both, if the mother and father are of good character, of reasonable intellect, what any reasonable person would be upset at. Which means that the hot-tempered parent or the one whose aql is a little shaky, their anger doesn't transform that action into uquq, because there's an imbalance there. So any reasonable parent, reasonable person of character and intellect getting angry at their child for something that they did. If it's something that will cause upset, but the parents do not get angry, then this is a minor sin. But if it's a major sin when it causes displeasure and anger. Alhamdulillah.